Okay.
Sure.
You know, our vision is to create compelling entertainment that inspires a lifetime love of games, sparks passion, forges friendships, and connects people everywhere through fun, innovation, technologically advanced pinball games and experience. That's my partner's writing.
We all didn't rehearse that.
Now, when we do a company presentation or a customer, there's a couple more seats up here if y'all don't want to stand. Am I supposed to be using this thing? We're not recording this. Are you recording this? Then I don't need that. It's not that big a room. Plus that, I got a big voice. Actually, see, when we do a webinar, something like that, when I did them, I always made everybody read this along with me, or a presentation to a European customer. So Rich has probably read it a bunch of times before, but this is what we're trying to do. We make games. You know, we talk about us being a pinball manufacturer. We're game designers. We have to make the games, but the basis is the game. You got to have the game, and that's what is entertaining you. You all welcome to come see how we make them in a factory, but is that really exciting? No, the games are exciting. I appreciate you all paying attention to us, coming here today. We'll do some questions and answers. There's some written questions. We'll take some questions. But we're going to tell you something about what we're doing first. This show I've been to before. I see it seems to be growing, which is great, which means the community is growing. We cover lots of shows. Not every show, lots of shows. This show, this is Evan Kirby, who's our director of commercial sales. Nonetheless, he's here in that non-commercial show because Game Exchange is both a commercial and a consumer or home seller.
And I love pinball and arcade games.
There you go. And JJ's not here, so I can't quite do this the right way, but I'm second generation in this business. He's second generation, JJ's second generation. It's not unusual that people get into a business that their mother or father was in. Doctors become doctors, lawyers become lawyers, actors become actors, or directors. Presidents become presidents. We've had two, the Adams and the Bushes. So it's not unusual. You come to our place, you'll see lots of fathers and sons or daughters or whatever working in the company. Colorado is very important to us because I live here. I've been in Colorado since '78 part-time. Now I'm a resident here. I've been in the same building since 1978. I've been in the same apartment since 1993. I now vote here. Cars are registered, boats are registered even though they're in Illinois. Motorcycles are registered, everything is here. So I want to meet and know more and more Colorado people that love pinball like I do. So we're very happy to be here. He's happy to be here because he loves pinball. I'm happy to be here because I love pinball, and it's Colorado. We're going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. And this, we've sort of edited a little bit out of Rich's scene before. I hope he saw it before. You did watch the webinar?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And if he didn't, he wouldn't tell me. So we're going to show you a little bit of what we show the various dealer customers, distributor customers, and you'll get an idea of what they get to see. We talked, I used to do the webinars, and Seth's our president. Kid is great. Kid, he's 46? 46, 47?
Sorry, yeah, 46.
Yeah, he's great, and smarter than I am, has better questions, more technology, understanding technology, better accountant. We both have degrees in accounting. Information technology, I don't understand at all, but he does. So, this is as the business is growing. We've set this business up for a long future. You have an entrepreneurial business that flips to a managed business as it gets bigger and better. And in order for it to grow, I can say that as well as technologically, in order for it to grow, we have to have more systems management. The world has changed. It's all technology today. Like Insider Connected, but we'll come back to that. Grow pinball, drive value, back up. I can't memorize these, and improve our service. And this is what we've done with the company, and we still have things we want to do. Pinball play, with Insider Connected, we can see how much play there is. We can see a lot of things. We can learn what things are attractive in the game. It's all kinds of information, data now comes back. We're no longer just guessing what people like. We can see what's going on and see differences in different parts of the world, different parts of the country. George is very, very excited about Gomez, about that possibility. So, back up, not quite so fast. I'm not that fast. It's grown. It's grown, and part of the reason that play has grown 50% since May, and you know, there's hundreds of thousands of people signed up for Insider Connected now. Hundreds of thousands of players throughout the world. It started with Godzilla, which is 3 years ago, and we had almost no features with it. But now there's so much more, and that's a future. That is the future. That's a future. Digress here. My partner and I went to, bankers wanted us to go to, I'm going to call it speed dating for investors and bankers. Every product that was interesting had connectivity. Anything that doesn't have connectivity does not have a real future. Your car is connected. I start my car with my phone. My new washer dryer won't leave me alone. It's sending me messages all the time. I don't really need to have a conversation with it, but it needs to have a conversation with me. That's the future. And this is where I get in a little trouble. We've invested, we're investing, we're continuing to bring more things out, and more with Insider Connected. There's so much more in competition you can do, in game rules, in quests, and more interesting things to do. I blew it on the Valentine's Day quest. You have to play against somebody. Well, so I go to Vail. I'm in Vail, so I go, and I happen to find the Foo Fighters connected, but there was nobody else with me. There was Insider Connected. So I played by myself. You had to play with somebody else. I didn't know all you had to do was play with anybody. I could have played with myself and gotten the badge, but I blew it. I didn't get that badge. But we've had many different level up with.
Account.
Pardon?
Got to be a separate account.
No, I don't think it did. I think it only had to be somebody else playing the game. I thought that was the account, was the truth. But then they told me, I don't know all this stuff, but it is so much, and it's gonna, I keep digressing here. We'll get through part of this. It's based on Xbox Live. It's similar to Xbox Live, which most of you know. Well, Xbox Live, you want young people playing games. They're going to play Xbox Live, or they're going to play pinball. They're more interested in having the badges and the score. You need to get scores, you get points. It's a different generation coming. But for all of us, it's giving us a lot more. You get contracts sent to you from WIC. You get a level up on Venom. Great earning game on the street. Its game earns very, very well. Part of it is a level up. We will soon, for X-Men, there'll be. I'm going to tell you about an unusual badge you're going to get. There's going to be plenty of continuing. I feel like Biden. I'm sort of losing. And by the way, I'm a Democrat, but I still feel like Biden. All right. Important things that we're doing. We're starting a warranty. Do you have the warranty up on your phone?
I actually
Oh, you got it here. That's right. All right. 1 year warranty. It starts September 4th. Any game that is within a year of your buying it will be covered. Like if you bought it in July, it's covered in the warranty for a year. It's a 1-year limited warranty. They always use the word limited. It is for the end user, the first end user. If you buy the game from an authorized dealer or distributor, then you're the first end user and you have the warranty. For those people who are buying games to flip, their customer, they were the first end user because they bought it from an authorized dealer. So their customer is not going to quite get it. You need to buy a game from Game Exchange in Colorado or elsewhere, but it's got to be a authorized dealer or distributor. Covering it, LCD display, power supply, Playfield assembly with the associated parts. That's the main part of the game. Back box, back glass, cabinet, pinball legs. It doesn't cover rubbers and light bulbs. We don't have light bulbs anymore, but rubbers and things like that. Normal wear items aren't covered, but it covers the big things. Now, a lot of this we were informally covering already. We just took care of a lot of people, so forth. Now we have a formal warranty. You can find this. This is what we need the phone for. On our website. It's a little harder to find on the website as it is on the phone, the mobile version of it. Under support, down at the bottom of the support list, isn't it?
Yep, just on the top of the click support on our home page. Just go down, limited warranty, and it's all spelled out in full detail. It's also available, obviously, on our PC, but we need to just redirect it so it's a little easier to see for people on PC.
Yeah. Yeah, again, you hit support and then you just go through the whole thing and you find it somehow. It's there. It took me a while, so we're going to fix that. Okay, now we're going to talk about, no, we're still on value. Okay. Sorry, we talked about the warranty. The limited edition, there's only going to be 811. A little bit more limited than usual. We listened, some people thought we should change the number, but why 811? That comes from the lore, from X-Men. And Earth 811 is a designated future timeline where the Sentinels rule North America. Most mutants have been hunted down and exterminated, and those that survived are kept in concentration camps, etc., etc. It goes along, which is just not a random number. 811 to people who understand or are into, like he is, into X-Men is meaningful. So we said, okay, let's do 811. Makes sense. We're going to ship the limited editions first. We're going to start making them next week. We're subject to supply chain, so next week is the current plan for starting them. Another thing we've done to drive value is for over 2 years we haven't changed our price. Prices have remained the same. Costs have gone up, so we have to be more efficient, and we have to increase volume in order to cover all of that. We have a new factory that is in and of itself more efficient. Looks like, those of you who have toured pinball factories, they may look cool, they're a little funky. This thing looks like you would see with a major manufacturer, automobile manufacturer, a major electronics manufacturer. This thing, if you come to Pinball Expo next month, please come to the tour. It's Friday morning of Pinball Expo, and I am impressed by this place. I am really impressed. It is something to behold. The other thing we do, and this is game updates, to keep the games fresh, to keep them of value. And this is a change in philosophy, if you would, and it comes from the game, the video game, the home game, the overall game business. We're a game manufacturer, more than a game designer, more than a manufacturer. And Seth, our president, comes from Disney and streaming and games. and understands games. He's a gamer, and these games, these other games, these video games, the home games, whatever it is, they're different than arcade games. Arcade games are 3 minutes in and out. You know, my friend Eugene and I from Raw Thrills, he's got a design. We discussed this. Different philosophy in game design than the home game. So the home games, they don't stop updating. They keep changing the games. And we do the same thing. We've had 34 updates this year already. Last year, I think we had 90-some updates all in. Some of them are fixes. Most of them are adding things to the game. And not only are we adding things to the game, we're adding things to Insider Connected. That you need Insider Connected to play some of this because you can't do it in the memory of the game. You have to do it in the cloud. There's also things that we add to the software, downloaded with Insider Connected. We add to the software for the toppers, because some of the toppers are interactive with the game, and they add a whole new dimension to the game. So we're doing so much more that one of the questions that we were given, pre it, and that is what has changed. What have you seen change in pinball machines over the years? Well, I started when I was 77 years ago. I've seen everything change, but the technology and what we can do and with Insider Connected and being in the cloud, that's the future. That's the big change. Okay, now, oops, 1, 2. No, we did that. You know, now X-Men. Oh, we're going to show you one of the trailers that you may have seen already. Give it a second. I get a kick out of this. What would an X-Men be without a Magneto? Without a Magneto. Instead of a magnet, that's just a little play. X-Men's based, our game's based on the Uncanny X-Men. It was first published in '63, but we're based on the 80s and 90s. We've done our own art, but it's roughly based on that. I can tell you all the stuff about the movies. You all know that they're all successful and so forth. So I don't need to read all through that. Storylines of the X-Men Days of Future Past, which he knows very well, because he's younger than me. So he was actually...
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Yeah, you are definitely younger than me. But this was, when in '81, I was not exactly the comic book age. I've read comic books when I was a kid. '81, I was almost 40 years old. That's 36. I had to stop to do the math on that. 36. I wasn't in the comic books, but 80s things have been very successful. 80s titles have been very successful for pinball. A lot of the ones that we've done from the 80s are good, have been good, and that's because a lot of the pinball players, the pinball community, not 79 years old, 30s and 40s and 50s. The 80s stuff matches perfectly. Elements of the story, this is just puffing stuff, but the heroes are trying to prevent the future where mutants are hunted by large robot sentinels, Earth 811. That's the timeline this whole thing takes place, thus depicting the number 811 for the LEs. It's a meaningful number. feature video. Yeah, let's show them that. This is George and then Jack.
Hello everybody, it's George Gomez at Stern Pinball. And before I reveal our new game, I want to tell you an X-Men story. When I was in the 5th grade, I used to hide my X-Men comics in my geography book. One day I got caught while reading the issue where the Juggernaut fought the X-Men. Fast forward to the 80s and I was working on Midway Games and still reading the X-Men. The story that sticks in my mind is one of the greatest X-Men stories ever told. It's called Days of Future Past. And that is the comic book that the new game is based on. Our heroes are trapped in a dismal future, and to reverse their fate, they must travel through time to change the past. I'm very happy to present the Uncanny X-Men, brought to you by Jack Danger, Wei-Sin Chang, Kevin Koloje, a musical score by Charlie Benante, audio production by Jerry Thompson, and of course, Chuck Ernst's group has created all original animations and video content for the game. The art is by Zombie Yeti, and it is truly a love letter to the epic Marvel illustrations that created the iconic X-Men franchise. The first thing you'll notice is a truly unique playfield layout. Jack has created a completely fresh array of shots with surprising ball trajectories and results. Add to that a mechanically articulated sentinel that reacts physically to game events. The thought of the playfield is also truly unique, themed around the famous X-Men training facility, the Danger Room. You too will have to train to survive it. Of course, the game features a huge cast of X-Men: Wolverine, Magneto, Professor X, Storm, Colossus, Beast, Rogue, Gambit, Mystique, and all of your favorites. Stern Technology provides new ways to play with Insider Connected. And now, Jack will take you through the game. Have fun. Play the Uncanny X-Men.
Hi, I'm Jack Danger, designer of Stern's all-new The Uncanny X-Men. Growing up, I've always loved comics, and X-Men was the comic to have as a kid. And now that this is a pinball machine title I get to work on, I couldn't have been more excited to get started on this. Let's jump into my craziest layout yet with the features of the Elliott Premium Edition. Let's start with the main big bad from the X-Men universe, the Sentinel. It's motorized, its chin breaks away, and even fights back with a kicking target in its mouth. The Sentinel's hands are also featured on the playfield, destroying wire forms and knocking the ball off of its path and trajectory. Next we have Beast's Lab. This is an elevated, captive ball, very target. In the back, you will also see a custom sculpted Wolverine action figure having been thrown by Colossus in what is known as the Fastball Special. Also included in the LE is an interactive speaker expression lighting system with X-Men themed effects, which will also be available as an accessory. So let's talk about the layout of this game. I wanted a flow unlike anything that I've seen before. I wanted cross shots, I wanted ramps that moved backwards, I wanted targets you couldn't hit on purpose. Essentially, I wanted to make something that was weird, fun, and engaging. And what's an X-Men game without a Danger Room? Located to the left of the main flipper, this is a high-risk, high-reward area featuring a mini flipper, a ramp, an outlane spinner, and a whole lot of danger. Hit the extra crossover shot to the expansion ramp to make your way to the Danger Room. The cerebral ball lock mechanism holds the ball to transition to the future. The Midtown shot is a playfield elevated wire ramp that wraps around the back of the Sentinel's head. Shoot the ball to Magneto's magnet, which is capable of catching and throwing the ball with special ball effects. Shoot the right subway shot to feed the back panel ring. Shoot for the double turnaround downtown ramp to watch a ball do something you haven't seen before. The highway ramp on the right features a diverter that can feed the ball to the left or right flipper. With Stern's award-winning Insider Connect Marvel's all-new The Uncanny X-Men at sternpinball.com.
I usually get asked, what's my favorite game? And I have a standard line. I say, well, I just went out in the factory and we were making Deadpool. That's my favorite. Or we're making Jaws. That's my favorite game. Whatever it is we're making that day. I love all my children. All these games. I love them all. I went out in the factory before I came here, and I looked out, and we weren't making X-Men yet. But that's my favorite game. This thing is absolutely incredible. The ramps he's put in are... I'm not a great player. I'm a casual player. And the Sentinel, bashing it, getting multi-ball, not too hard. I can do this. This game is really fun, and the ramp that feeds into the danger room, and then you got a mini flipper, you got to get out of there. Oh, he doesn't show you. There's a couple of the little mini posts that were called Kirk posts back in the day for Steve Kirk. These are helpful or death. We're between the flippers, and then there's one over in the danger room, which, by the way, is not named after Jack Danger. It's from the show. There's just so much. There's a post that comes up that catches the ball as you're about to drain it at the flip, feeding the flipper. That you notice the ramp that drops the ball to the left flipper. The ball's held there and then dropped. There's just a lot of mechanical stuff going on here. The Pro has all the ramps. It doesn't have the Sentinel going up and down. It's got a static Sentinel, but it does still have the mouth opening and what have you. It doesn't have the right hand, which is going to break the ramp. The ramp cracks down into two pieces. The ball comes down. It doesn't have the left hand, which is going to flick the ball back up. It doesn't have the captive ball, beast captive ball up in the middle and the top, which is really unique. It's a captive ball this far off the playfield, so it's very cool. But it has all the game flow of the premium LE. Right now, and now I like Jack's games. I took home a Foo Fighters just to learn it because I was doing the webinars in those days. So I took home Foo Fighters, and I still have that game. I live in Chicago, a small apartment, so I have room for one game, or I have to get rid of my exercise equipment. And if I did that, people would probably tell me I should put the dining room table where the exercise equipment is, because that's where it belongs. So I have one game. I am gonna get a premium of this game. The Uncanny X-Men, it is uncannily good. It is really a great game. So anyway, we'll show you a little bit more about it. But I am excited about it. I love this game. So Jack and I, we ride motorcycles together. He says I gave him permission to on a motorcycle ride. I can't remember what he said. I gave permission to do. Drinking beer, I guess. Premium. He has permission to drink beer. You've got the Sentinel, the two hands. There's a post here that's going to grab the ball in the return lane. Mini post there, mini post over here. This ramp drops the ball in the danger room. Oops, wrong bit. And then you've got to get out with this flipper, either through this ramp or you get lucky and go this way. Jack mentioned there are a lot of shots that you couldn't shoot. There's a lot of ricochet shots off of this thing. There's a lot of random stuff that's going to happen, which for some of you guys isn't so random because you can control the ball a lot more than I can. But there's just all kinds of stuff like that. This is the art, and this is the CAD. This is the beast up here, the molded Wolverine. Thanks for the hint. He's got to help me. It's Biden again. So anyway, this will show you where everything is. Cerebral ball lock, that's where you saw hold the ball and then drop it in front of the left flipper. Danger room, not named after Jack. A Sentinel hand here, Sentinel hand over there. There's a cross shot there. There's just so many shots here. Downtown double loop. B-slab, that's the elevated captive ball. Sculpted Wolverine. Ramp diverter on here, because that's going to tell you, which way you're going on this thing. The Sentinel head we talked about. The Sentinel head, the mouth opens. You hit it, and then the mouth will open, and then there's a kickback in it. It's a kicking target. It's like the old comic, sort of. The magnet for Magneto. Again, how would you have this game without a Magneto, without a magnet? I mean, you can't have Magneto on it. It just has to be there. They really follow the the storyline because they're all into X-Men. The mansion ramp, this leads you behind the flippers to get to the danger room. And it's really cool. The only other game that I remember that had a ball going behind the flippers and back into the play of the game. Huh?
Star Wars does, right?
I was
Well,
thinking,
with the ramp that goes around.
yeah, I was thinking Orbiter.
Okay.
The old plastic ramp Orbiter where the ball came around. It was a neat concept, it just wasn't a game. We never got it to be a game. But the guy who did the plastic, the guys who did it, it was Dixie Reinhardt and his partner whose name slips my mind. Dixie, who's since passed away, he was living in a teepee behind his house in Aspen. Another Colorado guy. And he and his partner, they were plastics guys. They designed the toilet on the space shuttle. And then they did ski boots, and then they made a lot of money to retire on doing plastic shoes for some Japanese company. And I talked about the lock posts there. So this game's got a lot of stuff on it. This is different from visions of it. Here you can see the danger room. Let's keep going because we don't need the Sentinel. And, okay, there's the hands. That's all right.
Yeah.
There's the two hands. This one's going to break the ramp, and this one's going to throw the ball back into play.
There is extra Mylar coating where the ball drops, by the way. That was like the very first thing Jack pointed out to us before any of us could ask. So,
Okay.
yeah, so don't expect that ball to drop in immediately damage to Playfield within a few weeks. We thought about that.
Again, the difference is I already did that. The motorized Sentinel coming up and down, the two Sentinel hands, this custom sculpted Wolverine, and the Beast Lab elevated captive ball above the playfield. Okay. This is showing a comparison of the two, and what you can see here is all the ramps and the basic areas of the premium are on the Pro. They've got them all. Nonetheless, I'm getting a premium. I've got a little pull, I'm able to do that. The artwork on this stuff is stunning. It really is. It's light. It's what pinball's supposed to be. Keep going. We'll finish these up. There's the Pro Playfield, which we've already talked about. Again, showing where the different parts are here. The only thing you're missing are the two hands, this being not motorized, the sculpt there, and here we don't have the captive ball up in the air. But safe flow, everything else. Okay. Mirrored backglass for the LE, all the usual features of an LE, which we'll show you in a second here. We get to two different artworks for the different sides of the game. The game's fantastic. Look, I don't get an LE, they don't get all the stuff that you get in an LE. The numbered games, the interactive speaker, expression lights. You notice that they had, the X of the X-Men on it. Yeah, we have an accessory, but it doesn't have the X on it. The side by Jack with the features of the limited edition danger room and so forth. The foil cabinet, upgraded speaker system we get on other LEs, anti-reflective glass shaker motor, the armor, high gloss armor, and again insider connected LE boxing match. What is unboxing match? What is that? Well, we'll get to that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, we've done all this in different parts of it. The insider connected, it will have lots of game achievements, lots of updates. For the first owner, when you unbox it, you register, plug it in, you get a badge. Only, not whoever bought it from you, but the first owner gets a badge for being the first owner. And then there'll be there's already planned lots of updates on it. So let's see what else we got talking about. The design team we've talked about. George talked about the whole design team. So we don't need to go through them again. They're all great. And there's all the games. All right, as I said, we're holding our pricing the same We have for over 2 years. We haven't done it. Here's something that the dealers and distributors see. We don't normally tell you guys, but for them to reserve an LE, for the dealers and distributors to reserve an LE, they may want a deposit from you. They're going to pay us 100% to reserve the LE. All, you know, we announce them, and then we right away see how many the different customers want, and we send out a pro forma, and they're going to send us money. So if you think that they're bullshitting you, pardon my French, that I had to put money up front, well, they did. They did. We plan starting the LE next week, depending on the supply chain. We're still fighting supply chain stuff in this world. Then the Pro in late September, the Premium in early October. We have another one. Let's see. We will take the game to IAPA in Europe at the end of the month. It's in Portland. There's a big show there. We did a stream. We'll do some more streams. Some of you saw the streams. There were some comments that weren't great that we learned from. We'll change some of the music based on that. The gameplay, main play, the music. If you watched it long enough to see Nick Wayne play, you really get a good vision of the game. The guys tried to play in costume with mitts on or whatever. I don't know if any of you saw that. They sort of didn't do as well as they should have. So we sort of, as the phrase goes, as far as the stream, it wasn't our best. We sort of screwed the pooch until you got halfway through it and got to watch Nick play. So that's what we got there. If you got any questions about X-Men, we'll take that. We've got some prepared questions, and then we'll just take general questions. Anything about X-Men? I'm going to reiterate. It's not in production. I really love it. Yeah.
Why are you producing the Pro before the Premium?
So that we can get more games out on the street. Certainly, if somebody, we're producing the LEs first, and we thought that made sense. Something different, trying that. If a location wants to be the first with a game, some locations run on LEs. They're going to use an LE for their initial launch or whatever it is. Then we need the pros to get people to see the game. 70% of our games are in the home. 70% of our play is on the street. So we need games played on the street so you all know, do you want to buy it? And you can judge if you want to buy a Pro or a Premium because you know the difference, what's typically the difference between a Pro and a Premium. So that's the reason we're doing it. That's my reason. Hope success. Any other questions about it? Yes?
Are all of the LEs already spoken for?
You'd have to ask the different dealers and distributors.
We have 3 left.
He has 3. Okay. I don't think there'll be once people really. This game is really. I really love this game. I keep saying it, and I'm not the world's greatest pinball player, and I don't play a lot. But this game is fun. I also do know where the Insider Connected games are in the Vail area, so I do get to go play them a little bit. If I had more room in my apartment in Vail, I could have a game. I'm still trying to figure that out. I've only been in the apartment since '93. What?
Buy the one next to you. Not at the wall.
You can always count on Rich for good advice.
Solution.
Okay, any other questions about it? Yes?
Is there any timeline on accessories packages?
What do we know about the accessories?
All I know for the accessories for X-Men is I wouldn't expect them before January 2025.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some.
Yeah, no, we are aiming with each release to get them closer and closer. We've definitely heard the responses going forward. Unfortunately, sometimes approvals and yada yada doesn't always happen, but it is a conscious effort on us to get them out closer because we realize people want to pimp out their games, make them look awesome as soon as possible.
I have 4 Harleys and a Ducati. I understand adding things to your product, to your, to your Harley, to your pinball machine. I got that Volvo out there. I wanted a second set of wheels and tires because I've been driving around in the summer on studded snows. And I got different wheels, but you got to have them available when you buy the car, when you buy the, I keep adding stuff to the Harley, but it's better to have it available. We are contracting with a really good mechanical design group. The lead ideas for these accessories still will come from the design team that's totally engrossed in the title, but we're seeing if we can get the work done separately, concurrently, so we can finally bring this up to speed where it should be. Anything else on the Uncanny X-Men?
Why didn't you bring it to the show today?
We didn't build it yet. We didn't build it. We were going to be building. We're a week late in building. At least we're more than a week late, but we're a week late.
I'm excited to play it.
Pardon?
I said I'm excited to play it.
Me too. I was, and I got to. But I've been playing it for a while because I play the white one too.
It was the plan until about 9 days ago.
Yeah. It's over. It didn't work. And we do code updates constantly, as I said. Not quite ready yet for coming out, right presentation. The game deserves, this game's really great. It really deserves the best presentation possible of any game ever presented. Yes?
I know you have another X-Men. Why did you do another one? The one from 2009, I think?
You mean the one that we've done before?
Yeah, why did you do another one?
Another one? Well, you mean why'd we use the 80s, 90s? We got to do a lot more with it. We got to do a lot more art. We think that its story, the 811 story, is the guys do. Don't go by me. I'm 79. I don't know. But it's a righteous story to do. And plus that, you wouldn't redo the same one. When we've made a good game, people ask, why don't you make a third Simpsons game? We made a second Simpsons game. The first one was good. The second one was fantastic. I wouldn't do Simpsons again. Compete with my Simpsons? I'd never do as good as a game as that was. Somebody regularly tries to get the titles we did and redo them, and usually they're not as good as our game, unless we did it a long time ago. We just don't want to redo the same game. I'll give you one that I loved, our Pirates. I wouldn't have redone it. You may love the other guy's Pirates. I happen to love our Pirates. Different era, but great game. I wouldn't have touched it.
What are your biggest manufacturing challenges right now?
Some of the parts, some of the end-of-life parts for electronics. Playfields remain always a challenge because that's the backbone of your game. It isn't people. We get workers. We have workers. Many of them, I don't want to be too political, but thank God that we have immigrants coming here, because if you've been in our factory, you know that we're largely Hispanic. You think we're a largely Hispanic workforce, not necessarily Mexican, but largely Hispanic. We also had a large, I think we still do, a large Nigerian group of immigrants working in our factory. And everybody we hire is legal, so we can't mess around with that. Any other questions about, yes?
I have sort of a related question. So, but by the way, we love Insider Connect. That's why we prefer Stern machines, hands down. But I can't help noticing that the demographic for pinball is very white, and maybe even skews a little like white male. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, if you're having discussions in the company about what kinds of creative things to do to kind of broaden that demographic a little bit.
We are, and we certainly see a lot more women playing, and we have women in the product development staff. We have some people who are not white male in the product development staff. In particular, it's certainly a subject. I'll go. The two things you don't want to do is the all-white male or old white male. And if you look at Harley, which still has some growth for some reason, I don't know how they're pulling it off, but their old white male customer is waning, is aging out. They haven't crossed the millennial divide. They have done, a better job in some different ethnic groups, but the problem they have is young people in cities don't buy cars, much less motorcycles. My nephew is an executive in a real estate apartment building company, and I said, building the building next to me, they're only going to have one parking spot for every 3 apartments. It's crazy. I said, no, that's the world today in cities. There's less parking. They don't buy cars. So we have crossed the millennial divide. They haven't. And one of the things we're doing is both trying to get young people and trying to think about other customer bases. Do you know anything more to add on that? I know that we've got women bells.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we've really strongly supported recently the Bells and Chimes League, especially with special inside connected badges and launch party badges, stuff like that. Actually, it's fair to call Rebecca number 2 in the AM department behind Ryan. She we hired. She comes from Bells and Chimes, and very quickly kind of pointed at us like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And we were like, no, we didn't really consider that. Just in terms of licenses and ideas and just concepts, even streams. She works with Jack a lot and just discusses those kinds of things. Yeah, I mean, but hear that a lot too. It's a step-by-step progression.
I can remember saying that to my Australian customers. When we did AC/DC that long ago, you got to really, especially in Australia, you got to go on your base. All right, let's quickly go through some of the. Do you have any more questions on?
Oh,
go ahead.
More general, but do you have plans to make a dedicated Insider Connected app, like versus the website? Like, I love Insider Connected, and the website's great, but it's like
we have an app. We have an app, and we're upgrading it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The app
we
is.
Do have an app.
Yeah, the app's available,
Okay.
and we are in the midst of testing the 2.0 version of it.
Oh,
so,
cool.
yeah, hoping within the next month or so that we'll have something very exciting to roll out.
What I didn't know as an old person is that nobody uses a computer anymore. Everything's on an app on the phone, and so we have to do. I'm sure there was a meeting for that. We have to do have apps, and that's really the way to go. Seth understands that. I did. Yes, sir.
Your toppers are great. Are you thinking about redoing any of the toppers that have gone up in value in terms of the resale values, like Star Wars, for example?
We've thought about it. I don't have an answer, but we have talked and thought about it. All right, we're quickly going to go through these questions here that were prepared for us.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Stern Pinball recently announced a new X-Men machine. How can you tell us about the process of choosing, developing a theme like X-Men for a pinball game?
You go ahead. I'm good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Obviously, we have our marketing and the licensing team. It's a big secret that we have a good relationship with Disney and Marvel in particular. I think we try to go with general popularity. Also, try to aim towards some topical stuff. Especially X-Men right now. If we did this a year or 2 ago, I'm not sure if it would have stuck the landing as well as it has, but between Deadpool and Wolverine being the highest grossing R-rated movie ever, the X-Men 97 show coming out earlier this year to rave reviews, and they're already working on the 2nd season. It's just a great timing of it. I think some of it, we lucked out a little bit in terms of the great reception of the show, great reception of the movies and stuff like that. But we take these great themes and licenses and try to keep it a little topical, and relevant.
On the little part of the video that you didn't see where I introduced Seth to do the webinar. So Roper brought me props. He brought me the Uncanny X-Men comic, and they brought me characters that I had on my desk. You know, it was because these guys were, again, it's the age group, they're all into that. What's our next one?
How has pinball design evolved since you first entered the industry?
That's what
And what do you see as the biggest innovation in modern machines?
It's evolved completely, as I said earlier. And again, you know, back when I entered the industry, they had just added electricity and flippers and Humpty Dumpty. I mean, that's how far back I go. That was 47, because I said, you know, I was 2 in 1947 when my father, who was a game operator and then a game distributor in Philadelphia, came to Chicago. Some of you have heard this story. He came to Chicago, sat behind Harry Williams' desk. My father was a 35-year-old punk kid. I can say that at my age. And Harry was probably a 38-year-old punk kid, sat behind Harry's desk, put his feet up and said, kidding around, and said, "Why don't you sell me the company?" So Harry went and flew around Chicago for 3 hours and sold my father half the company. Pinball has changed quite a bit. The biggest change, the most important thing, you're going to be surprised to hear me say, is insider connected. Any product without connectivity doesn't have a future. Whether it be your car, your, you know, washer, dryer, your everything's on a telephone. Everything's connected today. And there's so much more you can do with connectivity. Who watches network TV? You don't even watch cable anymore. You stream everything. I mean, it's just, you got to have connectivity. And this, then as you get it, there's so much more you can learn to do with it. You know, so you mentioned leaderboard. Somebody said, you know, leaderboard for home use. We'll get there. We didn't know that was going to be as important until we took it to a Pinball Expo and to IAPA. And both the operating community and the enthusiast community wanted it. And we switched what we were doing because it wasn't coming till much later. What's another question?
With the resurgence of interest in pinball among younger generations, how is Stern Pinball adapting its designs and marketing strategies to appeal to new players while still satisfying longtime enthusiasts?
Insider connected. That's it. It's insider connected. It's the future of pinball. It's what's going to get young people to play. They're more interested in pinball now that you have insider connected. That's the future. That's how. What's the next question? These are great. You can see where this is going.
This one's about the future of pinball, but I think I already know your answer.
No, go ahead.
Looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of pinball, and are there any upcoming innovations or projects at Stern that you can hint at?
Insider connected. That is why I'm more excited about pinball now than I have ever been in my 77 years of being around it. This is really the future. It's absolutely the future. Pinball machine without insider connected is a box on 4 legs. Pardon me for being insulting to some other old games or other people's games. But that's the future of every product in the world. Next one. I didn't write these.
Neither did I.
Neither did I.
Many pinball enthusiasts are also collectors. What advice would you give to someone looking to start or expand their pinball collection?
This is easy. Make sure whichever game you buy is connected. Insider connected, because that's going to go up in value, and that's going to have more play to it. Insider connected. Next question.
Last one, actually. Stern Pinball has created machines based on popular franchises, such as X-Men. Is there a dream license you haven't yet secured that you would love to see as a pinball theme?
Yes, because I was going to say so.
Actually, I think we have it. So I think we have it. I think we've got that license. So the answer is no, because we're going to bring it out. Okay.
Which one?
Great question. Great question. Next question.
What's it rhyme?
Are you gonna like retrofit your older machines to get
The-
insider connected?
Any game that has a so that's a great question.
Yeah.
Any game with an LCD, which is Spike 2, and everybody knows we're working on Spike 3. They can be retrofitted or come out with it. You know, since Godzilla, everything's been built with it. There's a retrofit kit for all of the other LCD games, and many people have or should have retrofitted the game. It wasn't expensive and it was easy to do. I could do it. That's how easy it is. They don't let me hold tools. As far as the any game with a dot matrix. We haven't done that yet. I'm not sure we can. And any game prior to Spike 1 wouldn't even have the power to do it. You're not in the cloud. You got to be in the cloud. There's so much more you can do, because what you can't fit in the game, you have up there and you bring down to the game. And of course, it's going to have all kinds of stuff for the operator. It does have a lot already. It's going to download your games. When the games used to go to operators first, and nobody ever updated them.
With Insider Connected and all that data, were there any surprises or insights that you didn't expect to be true, and now it's changed the way that you think about what you're doing?
There is, but Seth is really good at analyzing that stuff, and I don't know anything in particular.
One thing, especially primarily the commercial side of everything, so I hear everything from operators and locations. I expected Inside Connected to drive traffic, but especially with the badges that we've, over the last few releases, started putting out, those drove more traffic to locations than I think most people even anticipated. Which has been great, because then some of these locations, they can use their leaderboards or anything like that to pair it up with a weekend tournament, or I know some people at a lot of locations, like May the 4th, will do a Star Wars themed weekend or tournament, something like that. So yeah, things like that.
Do you have an estimate on when the leaderboards will come out? Because that sounds like a really exciting feature
For the home,
yeah,
for the home.
Just anybody on Insider Connected, whether it's home or you're playing out on location, like you've got your high scores, you want to compete against everyone globally. Like, yeah, it's an exciting idea.
As far as for home alone, I don't have the data when they're doing it. They're adding it to other stuff they're doing along with it. It's just a lot of
It's definitely in the works.
Yeah.
I got to play Jurassic Park at Costco. So how did that come about?
Say that again?
You guys are doing business with Costco now.
Oh, let's talk about the Costco game. Absolutely. I meant to, that was on my list. We are making the non-calling out home version game, and it's in a lot of Costco's. It's a lower priced product. Good game. Different than the first ones we've done, in that it has real Playfield and so forth.
And they're connected.
And they're connectable.
I tried to connect at Costco, but it wasn't.
They don't, yeah, but it's fitted for Insider Connected. Idea being a couplefold. One is, we're a business, we want to make money, and that is probably the right place for a lower price game, whereas our normal dealers and distributors, it wasn't really the right channel for that product. Most important though, it's going to introduce, and it does introduce, a lot of people to pinball. We found, and all of our customers tell us, 30 to 50% of the first-time buyers of a pinball machine at a dealer, and Rich will tell you somewhere in the same number, they become second, third, fourth buyers. We need to get people into pinball. We need to get them, there's still plenty of people that they still make those. Put them in Costco. Costco, along with everything else, is the greatest marketing thing you can do for a product. You put it there, everybody sees it. And it's better than like Sam's Club or something. Their earnings, customer demographic is a higher earning demographic than a Sam's Club or what have you. They're the place to go with to try to do this. If it works well, it's technically a trial. A lot of games, but it's a trial. And if it works well, we'll build pinball. It's all, yeah, we want to make money, but it's all about building pinball and building a bigger community. And that's the way you're doing it. It's no different than anything else. Harley comes out with less expensive motorcycles. They happened to be a channel that could sell them. Sometimes it didn't really work for them, because they weren't the right channel for it. And you have to find sometimes a different channel.
How many Costco's are they in right now? How many games do you have out there?
There are they're just starting to come out in them. They're in quite a few. Not a large percentage of Costco's. You're thinking the number of Costco's. They're also, the other thing, they're also online at Costco. Somebody walking down the aisle and he's going to buy, and it's got a box that looks like a consumer box, not just a a brown box. It's got art on it. It looks like a consumer product. Walking down the aisle and they see this big thing, and some of the business has been online, whether they found it online at Costco or they're walking down the aisle and say, great, I'll buy it online, they'll deliver it to my house. And people do that with big TVs, they do it with refrigerators, they do it with all this stuff. Not everything that they buy in their local Costco, they buy in their local Costco.
Are they playable in the Costco though? Because that would.
I know I've
The
seen.
one in Westminster is.
Yeah, I've seen some locations have them set up on display. That's what we're aiming to
That would
have.
get a lot of people excited, or just like new people into pinball.
Right next to the hot dogs. I mean, perfect pair.
Yeah, there you go.
It's better next to the beer, the vodka.
How long until there's an AI component to Insider Connected where it monitors your gameplay and it can tell me what I can do better?
I don't know the answer. I don't know. I don't know. If you look at some pinball rules, and what was it on WIC? We said to AI was really. It is, its intelligence was figuring out some of how the rules would change in it. But I don't have an answer for that question. That's an interesting one.
Hey Gary, you mentioned earlier about the supply chain, and then kind of mentioned the Playfields like the lifeblood. Is Stern doing anything as far as, it just seems like over the years it's been, Playfields are kind of like, if Playfields were never an issue, then it would just make the entire pinball industry probably a lot more stable and,
Yeah, we have and are, and both in producing them and in the technology of what's there. We've changed, the wood over the years. First of all, the wood has changed on us over the years. Now then we change it to get better wood because they don't let trees grow as old and all kinds of stuff. And we at one point probably had way too thick a hard coat, which is not a hard coat, it's a soft coat. Whoever named this thing a hard coat did a great disservice. It's a soft coat. If it were hard, the ball would crack it. But it's not hard. It's got to give. It's the wood expands and so forth. So we've done a lot. We've tried, changed the working with different chemicals in that respect. We bought the company that was doing our hard coat spraying, and we will soon move them into our building. They're now on the Wisconsin border. We look at second source, and maybe eventually us being the second source for the digital printing. That's a big investment, millions of dollars to invest in that. So we continue both with the materials and with the production. Yeah, this is a constant thing, constant.
Any word on the future of vaults?
A picture of what?
Of vault edition games.
Vault. We're talking about it all the time. We have some thoughts. I wouldn't tell you what the decision was until we announced it. Yeah.
Give us something, Gary.
I've got 2 words for you, okay?
Pokemon.
Insider Connected. I keep saying it. I believe in this game. I really do, but I really believe in Insider Connected. Totally the future of any product.
I'd be curious what vault people are thinking they would like to see.
Okay, Rich wants to know what vaults. They got a lot going on. We're no longer light ABC, light special, get a special. It's much more complex. There's still stuff for me, but there's much more complex. And you can think of, in a sense, it's a video game with, instead of joysticks and buttons, it's got flippers and balls and pop bumpers. And that's how we're controlling the rules and that screen. It's a different thought process, a little bit different.
Absolutely.
But it's still a ball and bat game when you get done.
I agree. I've seen a lot of people that start with virtual and move their way into buying.
Well, if you're
used
talking,
games, and it's like a gateway drug.
yeah. If you're talking just the video ones, the different video ones, there's again Arcade went up, and who's the other guy? Huh? Say it again. At games, yeah. You know, those are interesting. A lot of a lot of flipper don't quite move when they're supposed to.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know, it gets you into. They're inexpensive. We've had, but as to moving up, and as you say, we sell to some retail chains, and the reason they're buying pinball machines is they're one-up buyers want to go to the next step. And then they will all come back, those guys who get started on pinball. Again, we find that we're told 30–50% of first-time buyers are going to buy another game. That's what we need to do, is build a community, and they will ultimately start coming to the traditional sellers because there's more they can do for them. And take trades at some point.
Thank you.
Are there plans for more home edition games after Jurassic Park?
Let's see how this goes.
See how the Costco
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. Ask Costco, how's that? Let's see how this goes. I would like it, and not just because it's money, and we don't make a margin that we should out of it, but I really think that it expands pinball. Anywhere you can get it, and you know, and Rich may disagree, it needs a different chain. But when he was selling the home game, people would move up to the other game. It was a different situation. This is a different customer. And hopefully we can make this customer our customer for the regular games and for coming here and so forth. Anything else, folks?
Do you think the trend's going to be LEs kind of coming off 1,000 down to 811 or whatever in the future?
Maybe. Maybe. And maybe sometimes more. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. This was just 811 was a real number. It just, oh yeah, let's do that. I mean, some people said, you know, trim the number a little. Maybe, maybe not. 811. That just, you know, it's part of the lore. It just goes with it. So it made sense. Okay. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. We appreciate the love of pinball. We appreciate your feelings for Stern. Thank you very much. Insider Connected.